Oh, because Luke. Luke did my things. That's why. Just kidding. It works. Okay. Audio. That all works. Auto find and activate. Yes. Hello. I think so. I think we're good. Let's get a keg cleaned up. We got a spooky mobile today. This would be fun, right? It does work. Core doesn't have patterns for the spooky mobile. Yeah. Clean this out. But yeah, so we get this thing. It's not every day that we get one of these. Actually, it's the first one that we've ever got. Pretty straightforward though, which is nice. I definitely thought this was gonna have a lot of curveballs. There's a couple. The passenger door, this one doesn't roll down quite normally. We're doing a full windshield. These rear doors are different, but they have ceramic borders. So we just got some interesting pocketed area that's gonna be a little tricky to tuck back there. And then we just got some really long oh God. We got some really long back windows. Pretty straightforward on all this. Nice ceramic border all the way around. So yeah, we're gonna be tinting this, or Frankenstein. It's a good one. I saw a comment, somebody said murder out. Yep, that is a term too. And just keep them coming. Fog machines, those are on already. Just to add to the theme, right? Because you gotta have some fun. Let's get this filled up. We're gonna do 3 ounces. 1, 2, 3 ounces worth of soap goes in the keg. Lock this down. And then air compressor. Thank you for liking the live, I appreciate it. It does definitely throw a little curveball that this one doesn't roll down. Normally, I will roll my windows down, tape them, but today, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna treat them, I guess, individually. We might plotter cut just the front doors. That way it'll be easier to get the pattern for something like this, especially because the rubber molding is kind of like all pressed in there, so it's already a little funky. So I think I'm gonna do that. How much your shop is gonna be haunted? Yeah, we've been making jokes like that all morning now. I got a sound effect for that. Or should we do this? Is this the proper sound effect? It's one or the other. I couldn't remember. The Undertaker sound has never been. I love how the lights are still on. Yep, they're gonna stay on the whole time. I had to. I forgot to ask when we checked it in. I saw the switch up there, and sure enough, yep. You don't even have to have the car on for him to. Good fun. Okay. Anyways, let's, so we're going to get some 5% and 35%. Why don't you use the machine to cut tint? I don't think Core has patterns for this. They should, but I don't think they do. But we always hand cut, or mostly hand cut doors, but I do use the plotter. Looking to see if we have, no. Should we do, oh, we could do a long roll. What am I doing? Let's just grab this. When are you gonna call Ghostbusters? They're in the thumbnail. All right, let's pull this roll out. This is C2 carbon. You know, this is 50%. This is 5. This was class film. This goes over here. We don't want to get that mixed up with everything else. Throw this on here. Slide that over. Cover. Yes. And this is C2 ceramic. So we should have everything in here already. Only windows that we're going to be able to cut on here are going to be the front doors. So we got to search for like a 2005 Cadillac DeVille. I think that's what we have here. Let me double check on that. Well, why did my screen go away? Wasn't expecting that. Oh, I turned it off by mistake. Yep, Cadillac DeVille. All right, let's turn this back on. Spooky things already. So let's get the front doors on here. Go to cut board. They should be short enough. Yes, they are. And everything all set. Let's cut them out. Core or computer cut? Core. Oh, shit, I did that thing already. Damn it. That's not good. So that one's down. So it's going to cut through there. I'll let that one cut out. I'm going to have to recut this one anyways. I forgot to double check my rollers. So there's 4 grid rollers. You always just use the outside 2. So because it always searches for 4 of them, we've just left them in the middle. I might end up changing that and put them over there anyways. But now I got an impression in my tint. That's not good. So we'll just recut that one. How much did you charge for it? Because the rear is actually very straightforward, we just charged it like a normal SUV. And they're going with Apex ceramic on it. So we're $650 for everything with the windshield. Here's the coffin inside. There isn't, because we need to get back there, which is fun. But you can pull out the bed. A little bit of a hang up here. Oh shit, that's right. We are doing Apex. Why did I have C2 ceramic? Oh wow. No, you're right. I have C2 ceramic. I don't know why I grabbed that. We need Apex. That's fine, because I messed up that roll anyways. It's a spooky day already. No, I'm glad you caught that. Because that is... I don't want to do the whole thing in the wrong film. Do you think good brands of tint are easier to put on the windows and easy to shrink? They can be. It doesn't mean that they are. The more user-friendly any company makes their film... Why do we have an 8-inch orange crush in here? That must have been... I don't know. I don't know. So let's put this back. We don't want this one. We want the other one. And then I got another couple rolls here. So we'll put those away too. Yes, 20 and 35. Let's put those away and seal them off. We want this cabinet. Are you in the US? Yes. There we go. We want this one. Or a tall roll. And I won't make that same mistake. Let's start with that. Stir. That's not going to fall out as soon as I open it. Okay, so if we're going to do a tall roll, we also got to change our blade. Or not the tall roll, thicker roll. We have settings for this and a special blade holder for Apex. So we're going to load that in. We're going to switch to condition 2. "40-inch rolls? Yeah, 40-inch rolls are plenty big. These are 36. I'm not going to be cutting out 2 doors on like a bigger truck or SUV, but most vehicles they're going to fit. All right, I need to put that over here. Okay, so let's do this too. We're going to put this one over here, and then we're going to move this one over here, and then these are going to be my active rollers, so I'm not going to make that mistake again. But then I'm going to see another issue with it, so. This plotter's just annoying. For this reason right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's annoying is you literally can't put those rollers in any type of standby. So it looks for them every time you set up the machine. Can I buy stainless steel blades from Walmart? No. No, they're just not that popular. Home Depot does sell OFA, but they sell their carbon steel blades. And same thing for most of the like tint kits. They just give you carbon steel blades because people don't know better, and then they scratch up a window. All right, we got our first set of spooky patterns. 24 a good width for side windows? Yeah, 24 is going to cover damn near everything. What is going on? We are going to murder out a hearse. Could have used a better choice of word. I thought that was the best choice. All right, do we got to increase our depth just a little bit? And a couple spots. Yeah, we do. Just a tad. That's not bad. So just a couple little slivers up here. Let's get these before we forget. Lovely. What do you use as the peel board? These are like tempered glass shower doors. We had these custom done because this is sitting on the face of a cabinet. How many years? Ooh, that one really held there. That's not as good. Why'd you do that? All right. Passenger, because of course you are. Yeah, these are thick. Like, glass can't be this big and, like, this functional without it being, like, thick tempered glass. There's, I guess, like, safety ratings and stuff. The knife is by NT. Olfa's are still good. I like these a little better because they are just a little bit better. The ends on Olfa are kind of, I just don't like them as much. What's the darkest tint? It just depends on if you got a doctor's note and what country or state you live in. Neon green knives? Oh, like these? Turn the lights off. How many specs are normal per type of window? Whatever is acceptable to your customers, because it's not something you can just answer like that. You can't go, oh, it's only got 2 specs in it, therefore it's perfectly fine. 2 specs is not much, but if those specs are really big, then somebody's not going to be happy with it. I saw some people shrink their windows on glass. You mean like on the glass board? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna start with this one. It was there. I think I'm gonna make a little bit of a handle and a stopper. Something like this. So we're gonna just make a little stopper for one, and then we'll probably make a handle. So this window, there's a bit of an issue with it. When you see that, see how it just drops down? We don't want that to happen. It's off the motor right now. So little stopper, that'll keep it up. I'm just gonna retrim this top edge really quick. I mostly shrink every window. Just pretend like I do. Occasionally you see me not shrink, like a very small quarter window or something. But most windows, pretty much all windows, have a slight amount of curve to them. So shrinking them just a bit is always good practice. When you get a little bit more experience, you kind of learn like what does need shrinking, what doesn't need shrinking. But I don't see a reason not to shrink most things. It doesn't take long. That's nice. I like that cut. We'll stick with that one. How much do you charge for 3 windows? I don't really charge just like per window. I charge by like vehicle. Most vehicles have similar pricing, but what are you trying to get tinted? They could be like 3 windows on a Corvette, and that would take me all day. Or they could be 3 windows on the back of a truck, and it would only take me like an hour. Okay. So this is pretty good, like this. I'm gonna wipe off my window and clean it up. I really want to felt this, but I don't want. How about this? Where'd my tape go? Did I put it? Oh yeah, that was sticking out. That's why it's making that sound. Push that over there. And then my, this'll work. Oh, I put it up there. That's where it is. We'll do like another little stopper up here. So this one's all cut. It's shrunk. So we're just gonna keep that out there. We can take this off, and then this will drop down. And then it'll not go down farther than that. In theory. Nope, it's falling. It's falling more. I just need a bigger stopper. It's too heavy. I don't want to lose a window. Just gotta put some more chunk in here. Do you only ship film? I should like tape a squeegee here. Yes. We do. So you can get tools here, but not film. Is that staying? That looks like it's gonna stay for a minute. What's the best quality tint brand anybody can buy for a good price? We have GeoShield films. I quite like them. My tint keg hose smells like mildew. You might have to just replace the hose. You can try running some vinegar through it. That might clear it out. But if it's been that way, sitting in there for about a year, sometimes that just happens. What are you putting tape on the window? So these are like old felt seals. So as I'm tinting these, I don't want that type of dirt to leach into my film. So I can cover it up and just kind of block it off. Tried vinegar, no luck. Yeah, then I'd just replace the lines. Let's get a couple of pieces of tape ready. Solar Guard dot matrix fix? I've never heard of it. What is it? Other than a dot matrix fixed. Okay, so we're gonna put the window right about here. Ow. How long have you been doing this? A little while. Paint scraper? That would definitely work. I just don't really want to wedge anything that I feel like is gonna... It's not my window, so I want to keep it nice. I can just put a couple pieces of tape. That's doing a good job of holding it. So we'll keep that there. Let's cover the door panel. The window, like literally yesterday, he said everything was cool, and then it fell. So just a newer fun thing that he, like right before the appointment. But we can make it happen. So let's cover that. I've wrapped 7 cards. Do you think I could tint? You can definitely learn it. It's 2 completely different skill sets, though. So nothing alike. But I mean, you're familiar with putting film on cars, so it's not that it's not going to help at all. All right, so let's run this. Make sure we have new soap first. Let's see. Yeah, not bad. How's R&D going for the AI listener for phone calls with clients? It's good. It's working. We've been using it for a while now. It responded to a lot of people over the weekend, which was nice. I don't want to push too hard on this. We don't want it to fall. Is it available? Yeah, tintly.io. Okay, that's on the outside. Yeah, soap scum can just build up on inside the lines. So sometimes, like I haven't had great luck getting rid of it. So I just end up replacing the lines. So like these, for example, if you have soap sitting in it for a long time, the soap starts to, like even in your tank after a couple days, it starts to get goopy. So after a long time, it'll kind of ruin your lines. Looking good. F250, 35, and limo. So all the sides and the rear would start at $299. Did you cut by hand or a plotter machine? A little bit of both. I redid the top edge on this one. How does the film not get ruined when you fold it like that? Yeah, you'll get a small pinch and then it heats out. So if you don't fold it like really aggressively, you're fine. You'll see. We'll take care of it. It's good. Oh yeah, I gotta roll this one up. This one doesn't roll up. So getting this one back up. We gotta be careful because we just tinted the outside. So you have to pick it up in a way that doesn't like try and grab the tint. So we're just gonna try and see if this will work. Just making a couple of makeshift handles or grip spots. And then I'm gonna heat the window up to just up here. Let's see if we can take care of that. This window isn't connected to any internal mechanism anymore. So we kind of have to put it back in its spot. It happened right before you brought the car in. So the other windows are fine. This one's just going to take a little bit of finesse. But nothing we can't do. We'll see a little bit of that. Oh wait, I'll grab it on both sides, screw it. Ooh. And then we'll just pop it in there. Okay, that worked. That worked a little better than I thought it would. So I'm gonna put a couple pieces of tape here. I'm just gonna jam this back down. And then that'll act as a stopper. This will act as a stopper. And then I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to keep it over the top for now to hold it. Occasionally I would get a window like this. You can always try and put like a little wooden wedge or something in there, like a door stop. I just don't have anything like that on hand. It's looking like a mummy. I know it, right? We're being slightly creative. Like I said, the window doesn't connect to anything internally right now. But we only need it to shift a couple inches to tint it. So it slides relatively easily, just as we're rinsing everything that makes it slide a little bit too much. So just a little bit up, a little bit down, get everything in place where we need it to go. And then we're making it happen. The other side's gonna roll up and down just fine. This side just doesn't. So, common failure point, I guess, for these cars. Would happen pretty often on like Grand Prix too, where the windows just don't work. I'm actually more happy that it's not connected to anything, because then I can at least do what I need it to do. The pinch on the sides. Let's look at it. It generally happens a little bit. Take a heat gun, warm it up, goes away. That went nice, all things considered. It's a good thing that we installed the right film rather than having to do this twice, though. What's the best tool? What's the price difference? See, somebody's messaging our bot right now. What's the best tool for back windows? There's 3 that I really like. Sideswipe, bulldozer, and a tail fin. And those look like, here is a tail fin. If we dig through here, here's a bulldozer, and then sideswiper somewhere in here. I'll grab that later, but these are 2. Sideswipe will look, oh yeah, this is what a sideswiper looks like. Do you get dirt in your film sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. That's why we do some tape on the sides. That kind of stuff helps. Yeah, see, this is rolling down a little bit. Let's roll that up. Make sure that's pressed in. After it's tinted, it's just gonna roll a little bit more aggressively. So. Because it is now clean. So this is the tape that I do on the sides. See that? All that. That's what I'm trying to keep out of the side edges. Old felt seals, they just, all that comes off. Do you get small white dots? So small white dots is just dirt. And the more experience you have, the less dirt you're ever gonna see. So doing things like taping the sides, that helps keep my side edges way cleaner. Doesn't mean they're gonna turn out perfect. because anywhere that you struggle is going to kind of bring that and introduce that dirt. So like this is what somebody was saying, like what about the fold that you get on the side? Can you guys see that right there? So I'm going to heat this up and we're going to make it disappear. Just heat it up. I'm letting the heat pass through, so this is going to take probably about 30 seconds, like the entire length of a normal short video. Heat it up. This is some thick old glass. This is going to take a minute. I'm going to push it out. And now, I don't see it no more. So, yep, you can definitely get fold marks on the side, but they should be relatively light, and they're going to press out pretty easily. If you fold your tint really aggressively, that's going to be a hard crease, and that's not going to go away. You can kill the glue by overheating as well. Yeah, you could cause it to bubble up. So that's why I kept my finger on like the inside of the window there. I'm just gonna check all this too. That looks all good. And it takes time for the heat to pass through from the outside to the inside of the glass, because the glass will be like 1/8 of an inch thick. So it takes a little bit of time for that heat to pass through. So you'll feel the inside and you'll be like, oh, it's just not that hot. But the outside will be like much hotter. And if you wait a few seconds, that heat passes through. So always just heat it up a little bit, back the heat off. And then you could always just like heat it up and let it sit for a little while. You don't have to try and press it out instantly. It's just that that happens. All right, so let's go tint a normal window on the other side. You only have to heat the glass until you feel. So I use my finger on the inside as like a thermometer. There isn't an exact temperature I'm looking for. I'm just trying to make sure that it only gets so hot. So basically, as soon as it starts to like sting, that's when I know it's hot enough. Because if I go beyond that, it'll start to boil the water, and then it's gonna like bubble everything. Ugh, keys. We gotta find keys. We found keys. Oh yeah, and then we get this. It's a nice sounding bell. It adds to the spookiness. Like. Finally getting that RGB feel. All right, so this window's normal, so we're gonna tint this one like normal. Roll the window down. We're gonna tape the sides. And then this old felt. So a lot of this, as soon as it gets wet, you start bumping into it. It loosens up and then leaches and makes your, like leaches into your work and makes your windows look super speckly. We don't want that. So I'll take this and I'll get the main parts of it, wrap this around, and it's just a way of masking off the sides, is all this is doing. Nothing super special. It's just instead of having felt right there where it can leach off, I'm trapping all the felt away. And then I don't have to worry about it. We're gonna roll this back up. Nice. I know we like cleaned up a bunch of stuff. I gotta go through here. We like cleaned this up super fast, and now I've misplaced everything. Oh, this is what I was looking for. If the rubbers get tight, don't you have trouble putting the film in? Yeah, absolutely. Anything that becomes an obstacle makes the tint harder to install. So what I'll do in those situations is I will block off, or I will cut my sides just a little bit shorter. So there's still no gaps there, but you just do them a little bit differently. What do you stream from? My phone? Nothing fancy. How much to tint a hearse? This one actually is straightforward. We're not doing any significant upcharges on this. Oh no, I don't like when it does. Oh, it's okay. What's the tape? The tape is a newer one that we're getting for our panel guard. So this works, but I want it to be stickier. And so this blue one is going to be an updated version of that. That's hopefully going to stick a lot better in more situations. Gotta run around this thing again. Pattern is over there. Heat gun. Let me take a picture. Kevin, do you have your order number? I gave it to people, and I was told after the fact they couldn't find an order, but if you have your order number, or if you email us at info@313tint.com, we will get that taken care of. I will make sure of it. How does tinting the outside work? All the prep and the cutting happens on the inside, or on the outside, and then it gets installed on the inside. How does this line up? Oh, this one's nice. Kevin, I have your shirt. No! I love your shop setup. Thank you. I do too. Let's grab a blade, which we forgot to do. Do you have clay bars in? Not yet. Ooh. Might have to torch this one. Where do I get your lint-free shirts? I mean, we have Detroit Tint Studio shirts on our site. They aren't necessarily lint-free. They're nice shirts, though. Any tips how to minimize getting less dirt in the film? Yeah, definitely got a few things for that. I'm going to torch this one. Let me do that. I'm going to go grab the torch. I should stop walking around this way. This way's the long way. Not that. Why don't you use a sponge to clean? Why would I use a sponge to clean? Two five 25258. Nice. Cool. Thank you. I'm taking a picture of that. Why did you decide to torch it? So, anytime that I see the water just beating off the window, it's worth just taking a torch, and then that fixes it. And now our water sheets nice and evenly anywhere that we torched it. Any advice on a 79 Trans Am? No. I haven't done enough of them. I don't remember. I don't think they were crazy. I think they looked more difficult than they actually were. Can you use a heat gun for that? No, you have to use a torch instead. I don't even know what it is about the torch that really... It's just the flame. It just makes the water sheet, and it doesn't introduce any grit. It's nice. 10 out of 10 recommend. Brake cleaner on a microfiber, but it smells. Ooh, that's interesting. I've tried a handful of chemicals with like no success, so thank you for that. That's the first one I've heard somebody mention that is like not a scrubby grit and something a little different from the torch. That's cool. But yeah, I wouldn't want to introduce the smell. So if you're careful, it should be okay. That's cool. I appreciate that tip. The gas leaves a magic film on the glass. That's almost like what I feel it does. People are saying like hydrophobic coatings. I feel like it's something else, but I don't know. It works. That's the point. How does it work? I don't know. It just does. Still wiggly. So I'm going to check. I do like a little wiggle test. The edges seem pretty good, but right here seems a little wiggly. So that means squeegee more or heat up the outside. Just want to make sure. Maybe I wasn't squeegeeing enough. Yeah, those are good. That's good. I'm just going to heat it up a little bit. Two-stage or bottom loading? Two-stage. It's the easiest way to remove tint. There's no like dead simple way to remove tint. Steamer and adhesive remover. soapy water on the door windows to scrape them with razor blades. Why do you want to heat it up from the outside? Because I'm just trying to get the glass hot. On the inside, like, I want the glue to grab. So I'm really just trying to heat the surface of the glass up, and that's going to help cure everything a little bit faster. Question when it comes to laying down guide tape for the windshield or stationary wear up. I seem to have a problem with the tape moving on the corners and causing me to cuts to be off. Some of it depends on what you're using. So I can only speak for Glass Aid, which is what I use. Oh, there's just a scratch down there. I could feel it. I was trying to make sure nothing was stuck down there, but there's a definite scratch in the window. Oh, okay. So we were talking about the guide tape for a minute. So I don't just wipe the windows off. I scrub them and I squeegee them. That makes sure that there's no smears left behind. That'll help whatever you're sticking to it have a really good lock on that. So if you just wipe it off with a towel, there's still a bunch of smears underneath. And depending on the tape that you're using, some of them will release as soon as the window gets wet. Looking good. It's really stuck. Look at that. Look at that shit. You see that? I don't want that wood. Like, I could clean this window 100 times and I could have like 500 little speckles of this get into my tint. That's why I like taping the sides. Then I don't have to worry about any of that because it's trapped out of my way. What's a tip for the side seals when they're tight? Cut your sides shorter. A lot of people just cut all their edges really long. Really long bottom edges, really wide side edges. You're just trying to get into the seal a little bit, is all you're trying to do. That hides any gaps. So the wider you make your pattern, the more you're gonna have to struggle with it. Some windows are just difficult though. What are your thoughts on doing brand new cars with picky customers? It's just part of the job. Your pricing can kind of impact that some. So if you're tinting new cars, but you have really low pricing, a lot of times you're going to attract really extra picky people. But tinting is a skill. That's one reason it pays. that's why that's the only reason it pays. So picky customers, like, everybody's just got to do good work, period. They expect good work. Am I glad? We just went through a class, so things that were somewhere are now in other places. This stuff works really well. Could I join your class? Yeah, we have a class coming up in April. May? Is it? Are we in April? Yeah, next month. Whatever next month is. What's it cost? Go over to the site. It'll explain everything. Okay, so these ones, actually all of these, we're going to use glass aid for. So you can see they all have some type of like, I don't remember what month it is. I think it's April. Why did this stop? Due to inactivity. Oh, well, I guess we'll start this again. Murdered out tint. I made the mistake of making my patterns wider and taller. Yeah, and it makes it way more difficult. Why is it hard to find 30-inch plus film? Because you're, I don't know, looking at Amazon? I think I have a marker for this. And then this will be 5% off tools. Wow, that's all one word. So this is a discount code. 313 Tint. Scrubby pads. That's what we're doing. Scrubby pads and glass aid. So these are just old windows. They have a lot of buildup. So if I just wipe it off with a towel, it's not necessarily going to take it off. But soapy water and a scrub pad will usually get us there pretty quick. Then I'm going to take a squeegee. And squeegee will get rid of everything, including the water. That's important. That's important for sticking this stuff. There's a shop located, it's located in Metro Detroit. Most Detroit named businesses are located around Detroit, not in Detroit. Right, like that. And now when I spray the window, that's not going to come loose. So we gotta check the inside here. We have a gasket, but the window's not rolling down. But that comes out pretty easily. A lot of space around this entire edge. Thank you to whoever designed this. I appreciate you. They're like, how easy could we make this for a tinter? Let's make it easy. Let's not make their lives difficult. Thank you. All right, so now we need 5%. Because we're going to murder out the back. Makes me wonder why this car has a rear passenger window. For something. It's a display case. You know what, though? I'm like 90% sure we'll have to put a jumper on this thing. Yes, we're going to put a jumper on it. we'll tuck this down just a little bit. Not very much. This window's not rolling up and down. Let's grab a light. We'll cut this out. When I do shields, sometimes I feel like mine dries out too quickly when I'm trying to set it in place. Then just add more soap for your installations, because they definitely can. It depends on the film that you're using, but they will definitely dry out pretty quick. Ooh, yeah, I got a new one up here. And then I gotta go find all the other ones. We gotta refresh this. Yep, I gotta restart this. Open, please. Thank you. Auto find and activate. Is this gonna make me click on stuff? No, it works. Hooray. Lexan? Like any of them can dry out fast, especially on like a hot day. So extra soapy water. Whenever your tint is just locking up, extra soapy water. Can't see it. Can't see it. And that looks good. Have you used the cut right? No, I don't want to cut directly on the window. That's kind of the point of this stuff. So like the white helps, but it's not just an outline. It's so I'm not dragging a blade against their window. Those tools are cool, and they definitely have their place. But I don't want to scratch a window. I don't care what anybody says. You drag a blade on glass, you are definitely putting very soft lines into it. They're just hard to see. And every once in a while, you get one that you will definitely see. Have you ever wrapped taillights with Vivid? With Lux, same type of thing. Just a little bit, though. So I'm shrinking this, but this has fingers that are doing some crazy stuff right now on the edges. So I'm not going to try and shrink those until I orient them either all the way on the bottom or out the top. Those stainless steel blades are BS? No, they're not BS. It's just anything can scratch a window. It's still metal. So stainless is the most popular for cutting directly on glass because it's got a similar hardness to the surface of glass. I've scratched a window with a plastic scraper. That wasn't fun. That was one of the most expensive. It was like $550 to replace a door window. Sucked, but it happens. There, I'm just gonna do a little top, a little bottom. It's ready to go. So stainless is not like just the be all end all. It's 100% safe for cutting on window. If you snap a blade, you use very light pressure, especially on, I'd say, like older windows. I just think they don't make windows like they used to. Yeah, if the blade's dull, you're like for sure gonna scratch it. Yikes. I cut a window with a carbon blade. Ouch. Ouch. Yep, that'll definitely do it. All right, this is gonna be interesting. We're gonna try and cover this up as best we can. Pizza cutter. I've seen scratches with pizza cutters too. Those are not 100% safe. They've been around for a long time. They're rotary cutters. I didn't find them particularly like fun to try and cut out glass. I'd rather use like a pair of scissors. What kind of car is this? It's the one that you're gonna end up in no matter what. Scoop. Spooky. It's a Cadillac Deathmobile. Any risk of scratches from... Let's do this. Yeah, your last ride. Any risk of scratches from clay barring? Not that I've ever noticed. So, here's what happened with like a plastic scraper. I had a plastic scraper, and that in and of itself doesn't scratch a window. But then it picked up a little dirt from inside the seal, and then I wiped that over the window. So I'd say it's always possible to like pick something up. It's always possible to pick something up with something else. So you could have something in the clay bar that you picked up that then scratches the window. But generally speaking, no, you're fine. Oh, this is Apex too, right? So I'm gonna go grab a spray bottle of alcohol, and then we're gonna just wipe the insides to make sure that these are gonna stick nice. ...2004 Cadillac DeVille. Oh my God, he's so close. It's a 2005. But yeah, this has been converted. Why do fingers keep popping up on the insides when I go to install a windshield? You didn't shrink it right. You always want to make sure everything is shrunk flat. If it's not flat, you'll have something that pops up. And just because you're newer, a lot of times you'll just have something pop up because it just wants to make your life difficult. What's the alcohol for? So with Apex, sometimes on these matrix borders, I'll just have the edges curl in. That's generally just been something on the matrix or the border here. I got my car tinted. I don't think they used anything to keep water from dripping down the interior. Yeah, because most shops feel like it's a waste of time. Okay, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna try and sneak this one in here. Just a little bit over. Got that. We're just gonna tuck this down a little bit. I've heard you can use look at that. You see that? When you start tinting older cars, the dirt comes from everywhere. What was that question I was talking about? Make sure that it's all covered. Oh, 2000 grit sandpaper. I don't like anything that's scratchy or can introduce grit, but there are guys that use it. And that's kind of where I sit on it. It's like I'm definitely not going to say they're wrong for using it. If you get a better result and you don't have any issues, that's great. That's the whole point. So is alcohol a good alternative? So what alcohol is not doing the same thing that sandpaper does. All the alcohol does is it can help like degrease the edges. It's not gonna make the tint seal down to the dots where it's gonna make the dots invisible. It's just I've literally had this film as it dries, start to curl away a little bit from the dots. So by making sure that I've taken away any type of grease on the edges, it just turns out better. Looking good. Is it illegal to tint the windshield? In certain states, in certain situations. If you have a doctor's note in Michigan, you can absolutely tint the windshield. What's the hardest window that you've ever done? Something on an old car, generally like an old Corvette, is definitely up there. I did a Beretta. I didn't do a good job on that Beretta, but I did a Beretta. That I would say was one of the hardest ones. Is 30% noticeable? Oh yeah, definitely. %50 is noticeable. But depends on like what parts you really want to do in that percentage. %70? No, 70% is not noticeable. 70% is a way to get to block out heat without any type of like visible difference. So the whole point of it is to kind of like be invisible, and it mimics the same color as the window on a lot of them. So there's no like, there's typically like no dark coloring. It's just like whatever the color of that ceramic, that's really what you see. Should a customer expect 0 flaws from the average small tint shop? There's always going to be like something that you can find in a tint job that should be relatively small, but you can't change really what customers expect. You can kind of like have some general guidelines, but the thing is, no matter what you charge, every customer just expects a nice looking job. They don't know what you do. You know what you do. So you can try and set expectations, but the more stuff that you say, the more people that you're going to scare away. But if you do a good job, the vast majority of people are going to be happy with what you do. And a good job usually means that you should have an overall great impression when you walk up to the car. Nothing stands out. There's no major clumps. There's no hairs. Like, there's no grouping. Like, there might be a couple dots that you can find, but there shouldn't be like 15 speckles all up in the top corner or just scattered throughout my window or something like that. That starts to borderline on excessive. And the more of that you have, the more it'll stand out. Not everybody's going to notice that. And there's a lot of tint shops that'll just say, oh yeah, that's normal. Sorry, bye. Is this the Ghostbuster car? It is. Is Tint X good to start? I get asked that a lot. Their Pure Max is okay. I don't know how long any of those films are gonna last, which is kind of the problem. Like when you have a budget film, you're compromising on something. Clarity, longevity. It's like there's always going to be some type of like compromise there. Now there are tinters at every price point, from low to high end. Personally, I think you should only go so low, because then you're just like, it's just impossible to grow a business. But that's kind of like a loaded topic. Cheap carbons generally mean that it's not very shrinking friendly. That's been my experience. Do we put this somewhere? I put Tint X on my car. It's been 5 years, still looks good. Cool, I'm happy for you. I've heard people say the same thing about so many films. I think every brand. Like I had one of my worst film failures was with ASWF, and I had some people say I've had ASWF on my car for a long time, never had an issue. One of my worst film failures was with ASWF. Got people that say they love film and vinyl designs. That software drove me fucking crazy. Everybody's got preferences. Ultimately, get the film that you're looking at, try it, and see if it works for you. I'm not your business. Yeah, the tape was for an outline. I've had really good experience with cheap Amazon film, and I've also had really bad experience with it too. Comes down to how that roll is manufactured. 100%. And it's really hard to know what any film is going to do until it's been on something for a long time. That's what really gets me. It's like there's always going to be like your poor quality films that are just hazy right out of the box. You put it on the car, you pull it out in the sun, and it just doesn't look right. But there's quite a few films that are in between all that, where they look okay, and then years down the road, that's where you have issues. So as a business, I just don't want to ever risk that. But that's also why film companies have warranties, and some have better warranties than others. Because, like, I can only take so much of a company's word for anything, but they better have a program that backs it up. All right. Don't you love this window that we can definitely see? All right, so we're gonna reach in here. Did we squeegee all the way? We did. Nice. Rinse down the sides, mist everything else because I don't want that stuff dripping from everywhere. We're gonna wipe off our fingers and peel this. My sister used to own a machine that would pre-cut. Yeah, we have a couple. They're definitely helpful. This might be easier for me to go this way. Come on, just roll. Don't stick. Don't stick. There we go. Just scooch. Good. Good. Go back. Way all the way back. Yes, we are. It's fun because you can't see back there. Not when you're really screeching. We're getting it though. What windows are the most difficult to tint? It changes with every vehicle. Usually it's the full windshield, but on some cars, the doors are super tight or the doors are super curved. Sometimes there's no space. This windshield's actually going to be a little tricky too. So on this windshield, we got fuzzy edges, and we don't really see the edge of this border very easily. So this is going to be interesting. And we got an antenna that we got to remove. I already removed the mirror. Does the tint go on the inside or the outside if it's metal reflective? A metal reflective film would still go on the inside of the window. Look at this one. This might be the longest window we've ever tinted. Just pop those side edges off the pillars. Okay, I'll take a look. I appreciate that. That looks like it would be worth it. What's up with electric tint? Not much. What's up with you? This might be the longest window that we've ever done. Is there anything to look out for when tinting a BMW X4 windshield? It's a BMW. Nothing in particular, but keep everything covered. I'm not sure what it's called. That's why I asked. No, you're all good. I'm just giving you a hard time. The only tint that I've seen that can turn on or off is going to be like that frosted stuff. And it goes on buildings. It's not even super clear. Cool effect, though. But yeah, you're not going to see anything like that on cars. All right, we got one really long window. The new Lexus has an electric frosted on the roof. Yeah, and there was like a VW that had a regular looking tint one, and you had a little turn dial. You can make it lighter or darker. That's about the extent of it, though. It's not an aftermarket thing. It's a factory designed feature that would be, if you thought glass was expensive, imagine breaking something like that. It's a nice job. Thank you. All right. I'll line this up at the bottom. Save myself a cut. Ambulances have frosted glass too that can turn on and off. Wow, I don't have to cut that. I could cut that way longer if I wanted to. Might as well. Is it true that factory tint doesn't have any benefits compared to aftermarket tint? No, factory glass is gonna, it's more than just dyed glass, but every factory window is not the same. So I've taken BTU meters, checked them out. Some of them do pretty well, some of them don't do as well. So it just depends. Aftermarket tint is going to do more than whatever the factory glass is doing. So you can always do something over it. Yeah, we do classes. Info's on the place that you go to in the bio. 10 hours later, we're still cutting this line with long. Oh, there we go. We made it. What's the best and cheap film to work with? I mean, TV is pretty good to practice with, but the best ain't cheap. I recommend what I use. I use GeoShield films. We're using their Apex line right now. It's like double tinting your final resting place in 2 layers of ceramic. All right. I'll be honest, it doesn't look like I have to shrink this thing. Especially with giant dot borders, there's like no curve on this. Yeah, it's pretty flat. Why on the outside? Don't worry, we'll get there. But I never let a flat window get away from me like that. Just a little bit. I didn't have a shop, so it overshrank or didn't shrink enough and curled. That has nothing to do with having a shop or not. That's just the skill level. Tinting is just a skill. It takes practice. Doing it outside is always going to make it way more difficult than tinting inside, but that has nothing to do with itself. All right. I want to reverse roll this one. I don't know if I'm going to regret. I do and I don't. No, I want you to like push me. I want to get on this thing. There's a little lock here, so that's how you... I think that's the plan. I think that's actually the plan here. I think we're going to get on this thing, and then we're mostly going to get in position, and then we're going to get scooted in. Yeah, it's the only way to go. The only thing about reverse rolling windows that are like this is that I have so much practice with windshields. I have less practice with this. Sometimes they just don't go as clean as I want. It's like stick to what you know type of thing, but it is a really big window. So I don't know. I'm on the fence right now, but I gotta clean this anyways. So. Yeah, we were putting down some tape and sticking it to it. Also towels. Towels would probably be a good idea. Let's just do towels. Is this a hearse? What? You know, I think it might be. I was dying to tint this. Yeah, I'll just climb in here. Oh, I need a, do I need anything else? No, I think I'm good, actually.
Do you need regular towels?
Yeah. Give me, like, one of the purple ones. And then there's a little alcohol spray bottle, I think, on there. There we go. That'll work. Dying to tint is crazy work. I know it.
Is there like a spring? That... Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that little, like, latch there.
Yeah.
People are dying to get in the car. Yeah, one of the best comments. I made a post in my group. One of the best comments was, gonna murder it out.
Yeah.
It was like, there we go.
I thought a killer deal was good.
Killer deal is good, too. I just totally forgot about the expression, too, murdering it out.
Oh, somebody said it looks like it's gravy.
It's
Gravy.
It's like a dad level one. Dad level joke on that. Do you do a lot of cleaning to keep the dust down? No, not a ton. Like, we cover stuff up and scrape the windows. And beyond that, it's just squeegeeing and installing it right. I think I'll reverse roll this one then.
So I'd use the under 6-inch striker for this one.
Oh, yeah, I could. What material is the floor? Race deck. Do you tint taillights? No. I think this is the longest window I've ever tinted. I think so. Instead of razor blades, somebody told me to use a white scrub pad. Razor blades do more than white scrub pads do. Scrub pads are still good, but if you have a sticker, how are you going to remove the adhesive? If you have little stuck parts, what are you going to use? You're always going to go back to a razor blade. So a razor blade does the job of both. Have you ever scratched a window with a razor blade? No, not like that. Not ever with cleaning. Use a nice new blade. I'll get out this way. I live. Da-dum-tsh. Okay. I'm gonna set this up on a board, and then we'll go from there. What about a razor on the defrost lines? Yeah, don't use them on the defrost lines. Is winter usually dead? Well, spring is dead right now. Because of this? No, this is a bad joke. Yeah, winter's definitely slower. Just a bit. Yeah.
Like architectural.
Oh, boy. I quit my job a year ago, working in my garage. Any advice? And what do you have problems with? Tips on cutting. Whenever we're cutting, we can give tips on that. We got lots of videos, though. We're installing this right now, though. Is it true dot matrix on aftermarket windshields could be uneven? No more than any other regular windows. Wonder if I should have started on the other side. Is it just water? No, it's water with soap. The more you know. There we go. I typically don't do quarters like this. I use a soap called Tint Slip, but well, where'd he go? Did he leave? Why is that? Why did he do that? I thought he was standing around to actually help, and then he just decided to leave at the only time that I needed somebody to wheel me in here. That's why we do everything ourselves. How often do you use a plotter? I use a plotter basically whenever I feel like it. I don't use it all the time. It must be lunchtime. It was sometime. And that's why we did that. You must be supervising. He saw something shiny. So it's just a really long piece of film. And I got space on the window, so I'm not really worried about that. It's the space like everywhere else around the window. It's just sometimes the film is not perfectly flat. So I'm just gonna try and be as careful as I can. So just bring this down now. Do it like this. There. Noted for the next window. How much slip? Still 1 ounce per gallon. I think we're pretty good. There's a big old window. We gotta go do another one. All right, before we leave, let's flip this over to the other side. Same thing for this one. And then while we're in here, let's clean this. Does the sunroof require shrinking? Yes. What did this job cost? An arm and a leg. Ah. No puns. Nope, no puns. All right. So let's get the other side cut. Can you use the template for the other side? Yep. Yep, can definitely do that. I think that's what I'm going to do. Well, like I said, I've got no help now. But we'll come out this side. I'm just going to leave this thing scooted in. Didn't really change anything. Well, it would have been nice. Wow, thanks for the help. With scooting me in.
Oh, scoot me in and out.
Yeah.
I can slide you in on this one.
Is that a funeral car? It is. Ooh, that looks nice. Turned out real good. What would you charge to do a McLaren? I don't know. I'd have to see it. Whatever it is, it'd be more. Would it be better? Okay, what are we doing? Let's grab a... Did we just throw that out? Did we say we were going to keep it and then we threw it out? Yes, we did. So this. So we'll cut a template. We'll put a piece of film on our board. And then we'll just trim this out. Dry erase marker is funny when it gets wet. Thanks for the awesome towels. You're welcome. Currently listening to your live stream, insulating my garage where I'll be tinting out of. Love your work. Hell yeah. That's awesome. I forgot how long this is, but this is going to be pretty long here. Something like here. Okay. So, if that goes on like that, then we want to flip it. So this goes here. Oh no, it's short because of this cut right here. Bitch. That's no good. Wonder if we can tilt it. I knew it was gonna be close, but that is not fun. Ugh. Well, I guess we'll save this for the back window. I gotta go all the way up from here, all the way down. That's the only way that's gonna fit. Reminds me of a truck. Solid back windows on a friggin' truck. So Let me see what we're gonna do on this back one. I'm not gonna throw that piece away. It's too important. Yeah, it's a giant template, and it's not even big enough. Is stacking okay, or should I get my tint redone? It's always better to have it completely redone. There's usually issues with your tint. I don't know if this is tall enough. We might just have a big scrap piece that's gonna hang around until I just throw it out. Let's see. No, it'll definitely fit. Okay, cool. Sweet. The only bummer is that this now is also wet. So, I don't know exactly how much I need. Let's find out first. Tape measure. Let's go grab that. Here is your invoice. Uh-oh. Let's look at this one. How much do I owe for squeegees? $5,000. Nice. I should have done this before. I need 47 inches. So, let's assume this first. We'll cut 47-ish. Right. That'll be right here. I didn't dryer sheet that one yet. Let's do that. Let's prep this. Missed that. Take this sheet. We're going to rub it over here. And then put that on there once it's dry. But we can take this piece. So I need this backside to be dry for this. So I'm going to flip this around, squeegee this off, and dry it out. And then once that back window is dry, then I'll be good to go. Good enough. Set that now. So we're just drying this off. Then we'll take that piece of film, throw that on here, be able to dry shrink this. And then we can also get our other template. So this big old piece. This should cover my back window. If it doesn't, I will be sad. How long does it usually take to tint a whole vehicle? If we're doing everything without a windshield, a couple hours. If we're doing everything with a windshield, 2.5 to like 3. Yeah, if everything goes smoothly. All right. This is kind of like a CRV. It definitely curves a little bit more at the bottom here than it does up top. So rather than just doing a 50-50 split, I'm going to do like a 60-40 and a little bit more, 40% on the bottom. Are we heating to see ocean waves on this one? Always. Same rules. Always the same rules when you're dry shrinking. High or low heat? I always do high heat. You can always change your temperature with your speed and your distance. So the closer I get my heat gun, the hotter and the faster I need to move. How do I get clients? Everybody keeps selling tint in my area for $99. You got to do things to stand out more. People aren't spending more with you because they feel like they're going to get the same thing with somebody else. So you have to convince them that they're better off with you. That's always like the short and simple answer. It really sucks with service businesses like Tint. It's largely how you talk to people, but there isn't like any magic behind it. Is that a hearse? No. Yes. Yes, it is. We're using Apex. We're using GeoShield's best film. The 2-layer ceramic. Are you hiring? No, not at the moment. Pretty straightforward. A little bit extra curve on the bottom. Still an average amount at the top. If you've ever done a CRV, this is very similar to that. It's not as sudden of a curve, but it's definitely bigger. So down in this area, like kind of flattens out a little bit more here, and then it comes down, and then it does a sharper curve. Why does your hard card have a black piece on the end? It's a pros card from Tri-Edge that is a double suede buffer. It's really nice. Nice. So now we'll peel this off. Touch up our edges. And then I might as well just go tint this one or the other one. I'm not sure. We're here already, so we could stay here. Yeah, so this is like a stiffer felt card, basically. Really nice card. And then you have 2 suede buffers, so one small one here, and then one bigger one that wraps around it. Just gives it a little padding. Does the edge tape make the application easier? No, it's purely for trimming. Have you seen the cut right light? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. The idea is cool. I just don't want to take a blade and drag it around the window. Too many issues can come from that now. Even if you're using stainless, even if you're careful, especially when you're cutting around a ceramic border. Glass or scratches are bright white, so when you have a black background, they stand out a lot. So if you're just rounding some corners, that's not as bad. But you just got to be careful. Oh, they're over there. That's where it is. Did the back quarters behind the driver's door roll down? No, but they were really easy. They were pocketed. Well, not really easy, but they had these nice borders around it. All the aftermarket windows on this car have nice borders, really big ones too. So it was way easier to get these installed. They're just very big. Like this. Take a look-see here. See those? A lot of space around this whole thing. Makes install a lot more straightforward. All right, we're gonna keep this over here. And then I've been struggling shrinking thicker film. What kind of film? You use a soft plastic blade and never cut the glass. You cut the tin out with a plastic blade? That's a new one. What is it? Yeah, no defrosters back here. Heat resistant film for defrosters, any film. Defrosters don't get overly hot in most cases anyways, but you can tint over defrosters. Why is 70% Pro Nano more expensive? Pro Nano 70 has always been in a different league. It was basically an Apex Ultra before Apex was a thing. But it created a lot of confusion because if you look at the specs, they're better, blocks out more heat. It's basically a super ceramic, but it was confusing to people because they would look at Pro Nano and go, why doesn't it have a 70? And then there's Pro Nano Ultra just 70, and they'd be like, okay, so what's different about this? There's films out there that are just specifically in very light shades. It's kind of like a long-running thing. You have like Lumar's Air 80, and every brand kind of has a couple of ultra-light films that block out additional heat. I don't know why. It's kind of annoying. Like if you just look at all their films and know a little bit about the brand, but inevitably It just like makes things confusing for everybody because the brands don't really tell people that unless they ask. So you just look and you're like, why is this a thing? Or why isn't this the same price as all these? There we go. Nice and covered. What's a good plotter for tint and PPF? Graph Tech? Like one like that over there. That one's awesome. It'll cut both, no problem. Nice. Either go 10K Graph Tech or 2K Workhorse. Kinda. That's where most people's budget. So it's not true. There's a ton of people that get Jags. But anybody that asks me, it's like they're like, what's the best plotter? What's the cheapest plotter? Nobody asks what is the in-between plotter. Jaguar is like, so I've never had one, but it's probably the best value machine. If you were to buy something that's not Graph Tech, what would you recommend? Plotter Depot has the Workhorse 3. So I want to see some videos on that one. It'd either be that or a used Graph Tech. Or a used Vinyl Express, which is what I bought before. I bought a machine, it was like $2,000. It was a Vinyl Express, 40-inch. It was a great machine. Look at that. That looks so nice. All right, let's cut a template for the other side. What do you think about the Roland GX400? I don't know enough about it, but it's probably fine. So from a, I've talked to Plotter Depot. They sell everything from like Workhorse, Roland, Graph Tech. So they don't care which machine that they sell you. And they basically said, Graph Tech's gonna be just the best overall machine, most reliable, and like less issues that they've run into. Then they have like their Workhorse machines. And then they have, it's not that roll, it's that roll. That's what we're going for. And then Roland. Roland's generally like up there. Yes. Roland's up there for sure. Like they make nice machines and they're good machines. I've never had a Roland or a Jag firsthand to work on though. But once they're all set up right, like the Workhorse 1 and 2, they were a little bit more of a manual setup process. Jag, Graph Tech, and Roland all have more of an automated setup. Can you cut PPF on a workhorse? Yeah. Yeah, I should cut PPF just fine. So the workhorse machines are vinyl machines, and they just work for window tinting. Like your Titans, your whatever machines, they're all kind of like the same basic vinyl cutting machines. It's just for tint, your tolerances need to be like a little bit tighter. So that's where a cheap machine wouldn't always, it was hard to dial in where it's just cutting enough so you wouldn't have any issues. But all the cheap machines have gotten better. So there's still reasons to get a better machine, but there's not as many as there used to be. You're basically going to get the same cuts out of all of them. It's going to be all the fiddly little extra stuff. Like just plotter setup, presets, general features, build. What film are you using right now? We're using Apex. So I took my liner from the other window, and I'm just outlining that template instead of doing it right on the glass. Right here. And then I'll still shrink it a little bit on the car. This is sick. Thank you. I got a 66 El Camino. How hard is it going to be if you want to remove the film? I don't know. Depends on the film. Generally, old removals are not fun. All right, where's my heat gun? Let's grab that. Okay, so that curve, that's the top part. This is the bottom. We don't really have to shrink this, but I still like to snap it a little bit anyways if I can. So we're just gonna tighten up the bottom just a bit. That's all I want. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll this up. We'll do it just like we did the other side. With no help again. Yeah, we'll see. All right. What did we learn on the other side? Let's roll this side up first, is what we learned. And then you're like, nah.
Oh, that's a big piece, though.
Are you gonna ghost me again?
Oh.
It's true. The passenger will never see out these windows.
We could at least put in a sunroof for him.
Okay. Everything has been cleaned.
So you want me to hold that roll when you come in?
No, I don't want to be wheeled in. It's part of the drama. Oh, it's nice. Oh, wow, we went too far. Actually, let's go back. That's good. Nope. Yep, somewhere in between. There we go. That's good. Well, you're making it harder than it has to be?
Making it more fun than it has to be.
It's more fun. Yeah.
Is this limo or is it 20?
It should be limo.
It looks super light on the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it
When
does.
you were laying that in, I could see right through. Here, you want me to slide you?
Yeah, actually. See, that's way more fun now.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that went good. Went really well. Looks like everything's covered. Look, and then just push. Here, you can slide me.
Yeah, on the camera, literally, it looks like 70%. It's crazy how the camera adjusts.
Yeah. Yeah, it lines up quite a bit. Nice. Yeah, that turned out really nice. I like that. All right. Ride's over. I called the studio and no answer. Ah! Well, that's not my job. Yeah, I didn't hear it ring either. All right, let's go check it out. Looks good. Let's grab some new towels, wipe it off. Then we got a windshield to do. fun's not over yet. Imagine tinting a city bus or a train. Yeah. I've had, it wasn't a school bus. It was kind of like that. It was kind of like a party bus. It was nice. I recently started sticking the clear on the backside when I do windshields. Definitely helps when installing solo. Nice. Oh yeah, I gotta peel this off too. Why did I leave that there? All right. So from here on out, it's gonna be a regular Cadillac. All the big stuff is tinted. Those are big windows. Looks good, doesn't it? I've been considering opening up a mobile tint / detail business. Any suggestions? Pick one and focus on that. Doing both is going to be impossible. You got to get good at one first. Detailing is going to be the easiest thing, but that's also why there's so many mobile detailing businesses. Somebody makes a TikTok video and goes, look. Look at what you can do. They're all work. They're all businesses. They're all hard to grow. Oh, I do both already. Well, that's different. See, you guys need context. You guys give me like one sentence. Tips. It's like, well, there you go. And then you're like, well, I already know how to do both. What the fuck? I didn't know that. This is going to be a nice reminder to everybody. Please give me more context if you want a thoughtful answer that's relevant to you. I get too many people that go, I'm just opening up a business. Or I'm having problems tinting this. Tips? And then I'll give a tip, and they'll be like, actually, I tried that. I don't know what you tried. I don't know what you did. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of mobile detailing businesses. There's a lot of mobile tinters. Anything that has an easier entry is just going to have more people. The reason why there's so many mobiles is because it's a low commitment.
I need to confirm a price.
Yeah.
Single cab truck, like 2 side windows and a back window. Do you still do the full vehicle for that?
No, it'd be like $199 starting for that. Or $199 or $220. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, everything, so include the windshield.
Okay, so windshield is $150 plus.
$350?
Yeah. Do like $350, $450, $550.
Yeah. He said do $350, $450, $550.
$650, $750, $850, $950, $1050.
So like carbon, ceramic, and apex, $350, $450, $550?
Uh-huh. Didn't want to put too many words. My bad. I've tinted before, just like, but I'm. Blah, 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 blah. So, just figure out what is the easiest way into it. Because if it's interesting enough to you and you already have the skills, then it's definitely worth a shot. But just have a low, like, if this doesn't work out, I didn't have too much in it. I mean, a lot of people will feel like they need to get a van and stuff. For window tinting, you don't have to go get a van. You can tint out of a nice mid-size SUV. I did an Explorer. That was fine. Okay, so... They didn't have any screws. Is there like another clip here? Well, that just made my life way easier just in that. Never say never. Whoa! Oh, that's lovely. This isn't. That kind of gets in the way. I think I can just set this here, though. Oh, that's nice. Good job, Cadillac. Easy peasy. We'll go do that with the other side. Okay, and then, yes. Okay, how do we do the other one? Oh, there we go. Ta-da! Beautiful. Now I don't have those fabric-y things on the sides. Yeah, usually we're live during working hours. You guys want to hear the death bell? Just kidding. Wow. Remember that I put the keys there, because I'll forget. Should that person go for whatever is in demand in his area? I mean, yes. I would go for whatever is more requested, for sure. But I think like most places, it might be a little tough to tell, or both. Oh yeah, I got distracted with this kind of stuff. So one of the best ways, and still my favorite way of doing mobile, was not necessarily just doing it for myself. I would tint for other companies, and that wouldn't necessarily be tint companies. That would just be glass companies or auto accessories companies, because they usually have quite a few customers that are coming in, and they're usually not good enough to keep a nice full-time tinter. So a lot of those places already have business, and they're not necessarily going to keep you busy all week, but that's okay because then you just find a few of them. They'll take care of the customers. You come in, do the appointments. You get a nice payout at the end of it. You have an inside space to tint and very little overhead. So mobile, for me, was best doing it that way. All right, so we're gonna also move this out of the way. We'll move it back. Oh, that works. I was gonna say, we'll move it back when we're gonna install it, but that's nice. We'll just leave it kind of like halfway. Where's my knife? Close enough. Gotcha. So you didn't necessarily do mobile, like go to a client's house and tint their vehicle? No, because I think that's like, I think you waste too much time doing that. I'm going to somebody's house to tint like one car, and there's just like too much. There's the car, there's the space, there's all your stuff that you got to drag with you, then you got to set up, then you got to cash them out. But I could partner up with a shop and within 2 cars clear over what I would have made with one a lot of the time, and then there's more cars to tint. And then if there's any issues, you're there to take care of them. You're not coming back out to somebody's house just to fix something where there's not going to be any more work. The downside is when you're tinting for other companies is you're not really growing your own business. You're just servicing the existing clients that they have. So when you inevitably decide to try and start your own thing, unless you grew it in a way that really leveraged that, good God, this thing had some dirt on it. Then you're gonna, when you break off from them, you're gonna be kind of starting from scratch. That's what I dealt with. But it's a great way to make money. What was the typical split for that situation? It was a little different with every one of them, but we were doing typically 75%. Okay, so this is the only weird thing. This has like little stickies there. And then little sticky there. Cool. This doesn't unplug, but it does do this. And then we can stick it up here, out of the way. This isn't plugged in anymore, so whatever it is, it's not working. I'm still not gonna run a blade over it. How did Chad get Russian? I don't know. So this is interesting. I'm glad I took this off. This was replaced at some point, and you can definitely tell because it says PGW. When I set this up, I'm just going to trim a little bit of this back because it basically sticks, it's mushed over the dots. So we're just, there we go, a little piece back there. The rest of it is okay. But yeah, there's a lot of underserved companies. Like you'll hear this story over and over when you talk to them. I have customers asking for tint. I would like to tint their cars, but I don't have a tinter. You will hear that over and over from lots of different like glass companies, auto accessories companies, is because they're only like half committed to it. They don't really have a great program necessarily, or they don't have a ton of business, or they're just kind of limited in their growth opportunities. So a lot of them will keep a tinter for like a year or two. And that tinter will typically branch off and start their own thing. So it's a great stepping stone. C9. I'm going to say this is not important. And if it is, we can make a new one with our label maker. Worldwide. Oh, these Cadillac seats. They are nice, but boy, are they slumped back. All right, let's get that. Even Cadillacs don't make Cadillacs like they used to. All right, cool. Let's get some film. It's dead quiet in the back. It is. Film. What are we doing? 50? We're doing 50. 35 on the front doors, 5 on the rear, 50 on the shield. So that's going to be this roll. Or it's going to be this roll. Myself a little bit of space here. No, that's going to be it. Unplug the connection on the speaker wire. I didn't see a connector that plugged in. Soldered on this side, and then it kind of ran down somewhere. Otherwise, it would. Uh-oh. What is that? Why did it do that? Is this static? Is it when we get to windshield? Why does it do this? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see if it comes back. Nope. Now we're just not here at all. I might just not do this part live. Hang on. We're trying to fix it. Oh, we got something to come back. There we go. No, it's actually not a battery. I'm scared to check, though, because it might. Why not measure it before you put it on the windshield? I'm so used to doing things this way. This is how I would tint mobile. I didn't have shelves. I would just trim it out, toss it over the windshield, or I would just literally toss it over the windshield like that. So like it's a big roll, but it's not crazy to do that. No. It was streaming just fine to TikTok. So I don't know why it just decided to do that. It's just a weird thing that still happens. Is it gonna just handle 110 degree heat? We don't have that here. So we'll be okay. It'll get toasty. We'll have our warm days, but it'll be fine. It's not a GoPro. I put one of those window protectors on my Tesla. Already protected us from one good rock chip. Nice. What one did you use? Does it look orange peely at all? How's it going? You got ropes? Nice. I ordered my first roll of C2 carbon. Nice. Did my Camry front windshield. Alex, what's up? Did my Camry front windshield yesterday. All the tips from the March class came in handy for sure. Made it so easy. That's awesome. Glad to hear it was really helpful. Huh? Huh? I missed that. Flatten this out. A little bit more. A little bit more. Slowly. Stuff does. When you get tighter corners, the stuff does go slower. For sure. Pro Nano is faster, but this blocks out more heat. And it's more expensive, so it's worth it. The shop seems kind of dead today. A little bit. There's so many casual jokes that they're all coming together right now. Uh-oh. Do you turn on a thing upstairs?
I don't know if anything is on upstairs, but I hear it crying over here.
Yeah. Spooky. We popped the breaker. There we go. Oh, I know what it is. Let me shut him off. Yeah. Oh. And it's shocked the video. So we gotta unplug this again. Let's see. And we'll plug this back in. We'll cross our fingers that everything just pops back up. That's the best. How much did you charge for this? $6.50. All right, TikTok. There you are. See, right now this feels slow. But we don't need to rush this film. I do want to go grab a different heat gun, though. What windshield percent in Detroit is legal? Anything if you had got a doctor's note. They do not specify. We paid like 200-ish for tint. That's cool. It's definitely not the same thing, but that's cool. Yeah, it's back. Yep. That'll do it. I have a daughter that has seizures. She has a doctor's note. I got stopped one time. The sheriff told me and update my doctor's note. Is that true? Well, I would assume he is the one that is writing the tickets. So I would take his word for it. Also, not every one of those fully understands the tickets and for the laws. So it might be worth also taking it to a lawyer. But I don't know if there's an expiration on them. Because, yeah, I saw a clip that somebody had a note, showed the cop said, oh, it's not written properly. It's supposed to be written by this. That I don't know. So, time to do some research. Lack of oxygen at birth, totally disabled forever. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's where laws are very annoying. And people should be generally just more understanding, but unfortunately, some have big egos and whatever. There's double standards all over the place. It's really annoying. But yeah, tint is 100% good for medical reasons. But yeah, do some research. Because that one I do not know. All right, there's a button on the inside. We'll have to trim that out. I should replace my blade. Let me do that before I get too far. Do those purple lights stay on whenever they have vacancy? Maybe. '79 Trans Am is definitely not as hard as it looks. Back I just laid down flat. Nice. Did it have like a chrome border but it had space on like the inside of the window? There's like the Trans Am, and then there was another one, like the Camaros? Something from the era that, like, two cars that are identical in that. Yes. It's like one of the few old cars that I know of that I've done that are actually like, oh yeah, that one's not as bad. Where most of them are like, yep, that's not going to be fun. Got lucky today. All right, trim this out. I wish most older cars had that type of back window where if you're gonna have like a chrome border, at least give a space on the inside. But they put some butyl, and so you have like your border here, and then you have like the edge of your window here, and it's not quite that obnoxious, but it feels that way. They just need to give people a little bit more room on the inside, but that's why they're annoying. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, we got a little button. We got to trim this out. Right up in here, this little guy right here. I'm going to trim that out beforehand. I go through way too many razor blades. That's totally by mistake, really. I just keep dropping them on the floor right now. I'll eventually straighten that up. Yeah, this little guy. So I'm going to trim this out before I stick it. Can still do it on the inside. It's just going to be far easier if I just trim it out here, since it's right up here. There we go. And then we got that tab. Where's that tab? Tab right there. We'll trim this out too. This is just going to be a nice little zoop. And whoop. Got it. Now we need a couple squeegees. Clean off the inside, roll it up. We need too many squeegees. Let's get too many squeegees. That sounds good. How many windshields did you ruin? A lot. Still do. We ruined a windshield last week. We installed it. It was dirty. Had to just rip it off and do it again. Not fun. But yeah, definitely a lot. I had to teach myself reverse rolling, because that's not how I learned how to do it, but I like it way more than the way I was taught how to do them. Do you wrap cars? No. I'm teaching myself 3D modeling, though. That's fun. Actually, I'm kidding. It's not that fun. But it is necessary. Older glass, harder to tint? Generally, yes. Oh, that's good. That went away. Hands are dirty from touching every other part of this car. It's like, it's not in bad shape. It's just the way that the seals kind of like deteriorate every time you touch them. But I don't feel anything, he said, right when he felt something. Yes, right here. Where's it gone now? All right. Should be good. Let's wipe this down. Let's wipe these edges. Then we're good. Let's give it one more pass. This will be for all the beans. You know, I like this. I still don't feel like that was thorough enough, though. I left a few little streaks behind. I never like that. Do not like that. Oh my God. These seats. So I'm just going to be sure. Wrap around there. I just don't like leaving any streaks behind. Any streak can contain some dirt. We do not like that. Good. Good, good, good. Spritz. This is a 2005. Now the fun part. Why do I keep getting asked for edits like every time that I stream? I'm still waiting for a Sienna van. That's a car. All right, let's peel this. So I'm going to peel this short. Just short of that cutout. That way I don't have any dirt bleeding in from that area. So I do the same thing for regular cutouts that go around like camera systems. Let's wipe this off. All right, let's peel that. We go right about there. I like to do it on the board. I feel like I get trash when I do it off the car. Yeah, that's fine. I learned how to do this 100% mobile. And I like having the curve of the glass. It just helps with me rolling it up. But that quarter window, this one went really well off of the board when I was just going like straight down. So as long as I keep a tight roll with it. How long does it take to do a car? It just depends on the car. Hang on. How long have we been streaming? Let's see. Almost 3.5 hours on this one. Really not bad. I carry a cutting glass. Nice. I never liked carrying around too much. I had like a toolbox, kept everything in my toolbox, and then film rolls. Everything else, no. I think just a foldy stool. But the car, to me, the car was always my peel board. It's already glass, and it's already the shape that you need. So, it didn't matter if the truck had been mudding. You can peel straight off of it. Still turn out good job. Just as long as you're peeling right. All right. So, main thing with the reverse rolling is once you're in here, hold your hand closer to the window and get the film up on the glass as you roll it. So you notice all that is anchored. If it doesn't get anchored pretty quickly, it just falls off the window. Then right at the very end, we do this. Pull it out of the car, tuck that on the glass, line it up. Now we have this hole punch here that we gotta make sure it's tucked below our headliner, lined up. This is why I do it before. Ooh, that looks nice. Good job, thank you. Now you don't have to try and cut that button out. I need squeegees. Where's my squeegees? There's my squeegees. What do you do for an inspection sticker? We don't have those, so I don't do anything. If they're paper, I'll see you guys leave really ugly cutouts around them, or people will remove them, and then you just got to get new registration stickers, which I think is probably the better thing to do. If it's a vinyl sticker, then you could remove it without ruining it. Ooh, I don't like that. There we go. That's better. Where's my bulldozer? So I'm going to watch kind of what the window is doing. And there's just some curve down in these lower corners. So I just saw an air pocket start to balloon up the window. So I just brought that back down. This is cut a little wide. So we're going to take our knife, make a nice seam. And then squeegee it out. See? See? There's my tint. Now we're perfectly up against the edge. Remember that butyl, or that urethane, was seeping over into where we needed to place the film. Pretty good. Spray. Press a little harder, and we're going to do a couple more passes. No, this is 50. It looks really light on camera. You'll see once we close all the doors. There's that. Meta glasses? No. No, this is a phone on a neck mount. Huh? 3 o'clock appointment? It's not on the schedule. Oh, I don't know who he was talking about. What was he talking about? No, he was talking about this. This was on the book for 10 o'clock, but he didn't put that there as a hard appointment time. Is there somebody here for an appointment? Or for... Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk to him. Just give me a minute. Where's Mark? Can you pause it for a second? Take us with you. No. I gotta figure out what's going on. Oh, it paused anyways. Hang on. Phone's dead? Okay. That's our sign. I gotta stop. Sorry, guys. I'll figure out.